Let's try this again. Where am I? It's not coming up. Okay. I know I'm supposed to be battling right now. I'm trying to figure out how to get my opponent in here. Let's see if we can have him send. Oh, that's fine. Let's see here. We're going. It says 8 of my friends. Which ones? Okay. A-Rock and Calamity. I know he's live. Can somebody go tell him, send me a thing? Helen, can you go tell him to try to get me in his live or something? Woo! Took me a few minutes to figure out how to get the thing off of it. Go for it, y'all. Share it like crazy. That is if we get to have a battle, because in 15 minutes. Let's see here. Alright. We may just say the hell with it and try to get him in, just get him in here. Since we cannot figure out how to get him in here to battle. Would that be okay with y'all? Alright. Helen, go tell him to cancel his live and just come on in here. We'll just do boxes. I know you're here. Oh, Office of Dreams, come on in. Get. I don't know why it's not letting the other one in. Why it's not letting us battle or anything. We're going to be doing boxes, y'all. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. We may have to. Would y'all like to do boxes instead of the battle? Let's see. I'm sorry. Let's get you in here first of all.
I'm in. Have no clue what was going on. I went out and changed mine, because there's a setting that is for 18 and above. Mine was originally not on, so I went back and set it on, and then it still would let me see you, but when I tapped on you, it said it was age protected and wouldn't let me invite you over. It would let me invite other people, but not you.
Well, I hope this is okay instead of the battle. We can just hang out for a little bit.
Sweetie, it works for me. I'm good. And then now that we know that the talk is going to be around a little bit longer, then we can plan another one. We'll do another one.
Um,
Because I don't mind. We just have to figure out what's going on, or how's it going. Lordy mercy, I can't figure this out. Hold on a second.
I have just followed the Office of Dreams for you.
Yeah. Well, that one, honestly, I've used it. Ugh. Oh, something just popped up on my screen I didn't like. But I used that one because I was trying to put something out specifically for the Office of Dreams, and it was getting, it wasn't going through. Why is this not letting me in?
Mhm.
I'm not doing that. Okay, login, scan, confirm. No, I'm not doing that. All right. There we go. But yeah, so yeah, I can hang out. That'd be cool.
That's fine. Kat, would you like to introduce yourself? She's a little bit shy because she's had a head injury last year. No, year before last.
Sweetie,
I ain't shy. I ain't shy. I just was, away from the phone for a moment. Hello. I've heard so much about you, Baby Dads. I will at some point follow you over on the Tube of the U,
Okay.
because I don't know if they, I already apparently got a censorship for the word breathe tonight.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
understand how I got that, but whatever. It's this app.
We did that live Saturday, and all of us were on it. There were let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was 5 of us on it. Everybody, we were going through, and a question would be asked, and we would all answer it. And all of us, we got to one person who is sarcastic center, and he goes, and why does he did that? A pop-up came up and said that he had a violation, and we're like, he didn't say anything. How did he get a violation? I mean, it's crazy, but you know,
I want to do something.
what's that?
What?
I am recording.
Okay, I think it
Okay.
automatically records it when you go
Hey.
live. It automatically records it. Hey, Eric,
How you
it
doing?
automatically records it.
Hi, Eric.
What I didn't miss the battle, did I? I came in and did
Yeah,
I miss it?
she beat me so bad it was awful. Well, we couldn't. It wouldn't let us. Like I was live, she was live, and when I would try to invite her over, it would say an age restriction, and it wouldn't let me invite her. And I changed mine to age restriction to see if that would help, and it didn't. And
Well, I mean, she's clearly under 18. You can see that by the look on her face.
well, I mean, I can see where somebody would look at me and go, "Oh, he's not old enough."
Yeah, no, I was not even close to talking about you. I was
Yeah.
talking about Jennifer.
Well, I am. So, yeah, because I'm old enough to do. I'm legal age to do every damn thing there is.
Yeah, I hope I didn't miss it. I popped on like at like 8:06 because I was trying to figure out like when I said I was going to help you out, and then I realized I dumped all my coins prior to the TikTok ban thing. And I was like, oh hell, I gotta recharge my coins, but it wouldn't let me recharge my coins. And I'm like, well, what's the point of helping somebody out with a battle if I ain't got no coins to throw at you? So then it took me
Yeah.
forever to figure out how to fix that.
I didn't figure it out. I just exchanged what I had sitting there. So
Well,
it
I ended up.
TikTok is glitching.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it is. It is. I ended up talking to another lady that's on live right now, and she told me where to go to do it outside of this app,
Yeah.
and it's actually cheaper
Yeah.
because she said never buy coins from in the app.
It's
No,
like
don't do it.
20% cheaper if you do it off the
Right. Well,
website.
I did. Yeah. Hell, I didn't know that. So I went out and I did that, and I came back in, and then now y'all just chit chatting. I don't see any
Well,
gloves being thrown.
Figure out how to
yeah,
do it.
we couldn't get it to work. We
Hmm.
tried.
Yeah, they
Well, then I
tried.
guess that means Jennifer won.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Yep.
I
I mean,
that's
she
what I
did.
said.
Oh yeah.
She did.
Good job.
He beat me.
Way
She
to
beat
go,
me like a
girlie.
stepchild.
I know everybody's wanting to ask him questions, but
Hey, LB. But yeah, I mean, yeah, TikTok is going through some major glitching with all this stuff going on
Yes.
because they also moved their storage center to a place. I think it's in North or South Carolina when it shut down. So there's a lot more to it rather than it just
Oh
shut down and they couldn't.
yeah.
Oh,
No, a
yeah, it
whole
was.
lot happened in that 15 hours.
Hmm.
What what you got in your head there,
Me?
Bama? Yeah.
Oh,
I can't quite. Your picture's really small, and my eyes suck.
it's my unicorn horn.
Oh, all right, cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
I couldn't. It almost looked like you had a crown on for a second.
I have those too. No, this one,
Oh, it's ears. That's what. Okay, I put my
ears
glasses on now.
here
Yeah,
and a
ears
little
and a
horn.
horn. Okay, gotcha. All right.
I
Well,
used to
hell,
wear
I
it, and
guess
I've
I got to
still
get me
got the
one of them.
other one around here somewhere. That oh, here it is. No, it's not. It fits with it, and it's the little pride flags
Yeah,
sticking
yeah,
out the
yeah.
side.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, one of my kids bought it for me a couple of years ago. Brought me in a huge bag of stuff.
Yeah.
I've got to take my dogs and take them out for the last time. Somebody take over my life for me for a few minutes?
Sure, we
Yeah, I'm
can
in
chat.
charge. I'm in
We're
charge.
here. We
I'll
got
take. I'll
you.
take charge.
We got
Hey,
you.
Richard.
We got you. Richard, dad of 22. Okay, you are a busy man, and yeah, I feel bad.
No, he is actually that's a friend of mine, and he is actually a dad of 22.
Are you
Oh,
kidding me?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you are a
22.
busy man.
He is a busy
Uh-uh.
man
He
Mm-mm.
lives.
and
He
still
literally
finds
has
time to
22
work
children.
and make content. So
Oh my
it's amazing
goodness.
to me.
I think I've been in your live with him a time or two.
Yeah,
Well, I don't have to. I couldn't do 22. Oh,
we've been friends for a while on here. We've been
And
friends.
I don't have any kids. So I couldn't imagine having two, much less 22.
I have 6.
That's definitely commitment. So good on you, Richard.
Yeah.
well, there's a reason I've been married for 34 years. I can see why.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb. There's probably at least 22 reasons why you've been married for 34 years.
Yeah.
Hey, I had a friend of mine that I worked with, and she was the youngest of 24 children. And they all had
How
the
is that
same.
even
They all
possible?
had the same mom and dad, and the mom had like 12 kids, like one a year for like 12 years. Then she stopped for like 6 years, and then started back up and had 12 more. I'm telling
No.
you, if I'd have been her, I'd have been sitting there with a shotgun, going, "Yeah, step near me one more time. You not know.
Yeah.
You live outside now. You're an outside dude now. You can't come up in here."
Nope. Mm-mm-mm. Nope. Nope. When the second one nearly killed me, and I do mean nearly killed me, there is a huge ass story there. My husband was like, "You're crazy if you want to go for number 3." And so craziness I appreciate, because a year later when my OB was like, hey, if you're thinking about having another one, you might want to do it sooner rather than later. And I was like, don't you remember my delivery like 3 years ago? He says, yeah, but we'll deliver you at 36 weeks. We'll just deliver you a little earlier. No problem. We could get you through a third one. So I went home and I told my husband, my late husband, I'm like, hey, we could have another one. He goes, hey, we could have a lot of things, but another one is not what we're doing. And I'm like, but why? We make such beautiful babies. He goes, yes, and I like my wife as well. So there's that. He goes, you're certifiably insane. I'm like, I know. That's why I want one more.
Well, I love kids, and like I said, I have said this many times. I would have that many if I had the ability to take care of them. But I even started late. I mean, I was 38 when my kiddo was born. So, yeah, I started really late.
Yeah, that's yeah. I think it's more dependent on the birther,
Hmm.
just
Yeah.
for health reasons.
Well, I mean,
Well, yeah.
I tried and tried to get pregnant. I just couldn't. I don't know what was wrong.
I don't
But
think you tried hard enough then.
but no, I mean, but of course, with us, with the two
Yeah,
dads, ours
dude.
is adopted.
Yeah.
But
38. 38's. Yeah.
but
38. 38's. That's. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Hey, listen, A for effort for trying.
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, you gotta give that old college try.
Yeah. At least you had fun in the process.
Had one and shut down the factory.
I think my husband was funny because he was like, after we had our first, he was like, one is good, one and done. And I was like, remember our conversation that I wanted four and we settled on two with a possibility for a third? And he was like, I really like the number one. And I'm like, and I really like the number four. So who's going to win this one? Probably the person who has to do it a couple of more times, I would think.
Yeah.
And then when then we tried and nothing happened. And I was like, okay, I guess we're at one. I guess that's the deal. Look at that. He got a corgi.
Cute little corgi, yeah.
And so I just assumed we were one and done. And then, as they say, sometimes, when you make a plan, somebody else laughs at you.
Hmm.
That's what happened there. That's how I got my second. Somebody laughed at me, and I was like, oh, huh, okay. So then we had number two, and he got here, and I remember the look on my husband's face. He's like, it's a boy, and I'm like, I know. Funny that, huh? Funny how that one happened. I said, we got one boy, and I'm like, I know. Funny that, huh? Funny how that one happened. I said, we got one of each now. Let's go. I said, let's go for number three and see what the tiebreaker is. And he goes, let's not. I'm like, you're no fun. Let's live dangerously.
How do you answer a phone call when you're on here? Can you do that?
You can, but it's going to pause you.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's my mother. I can't.
I mean,
All right.
yeah,
Love
it's
you,
not
bye.
gonna
You can come
cut
back.
you off, it's just going to pause it. Well, no, it cut it off.
He can come back.
Yeah.
No, Jen is not wrong. In April of 23, I was taking my then untrained service dog, my untrained dog, for a nightly stroll. But Bama of two dads, you want to know what I was doing? More than one thing at a time, because, I'm one of those people who I can do it all. I can make six, plates spin at the same time. Effectively, maybe. So I was trying to take the dog out, take the trash out, and be on the phone at the same time. And the dog got spooked. She pulled me up and over, and I landed on my head. Held on to the dog, though, because that was key. And Tell her you're in a Zoom conference. I like that. Richard, I like that. So, and then I was silly because I woke up the next morning after my dog waking me up every 2 hours. And I was like, oh, I got a concussion. No big deal. Till days later when I sounded like I had a stroke and ended up in the ER. So, moral of the story, people, do not. No, I like that. That was a really funny one. Do not ignore your. I had 3 prior, so to me, I was like, oh, I got this. Apparently, as you get multiple concussions, sometimes, they can hit you a little bit different, which this one did. And I was not prepared. And I went to the urgent care and the guy was like, oh, you need to see your primary. Oh, I just slipped. I literally, LB. So, I think some children are in my neighborhood who are going to get a stern talking to by me at some point because I was out walking another one of our dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And these kids took a piece of clear plastic. And for what you don't know is we got dumped 8 inches of snow. And so they put this clear plastic on the snow. And I guess they were sliding on it. And they didn't pick it up and take it with them. So I'm walking the other dog. And Jen knows what I mean by the other dog. I was walking Miss Vara. And I stepped on said clear plastic and slid on it. And granted, I only hit my hip, so we're good. I did not hit my head, or else this would be a whole other conversation. I would be literally writing a very, very mad email and contemplating whether or not I should be going to the doctor. Because the last time I waited 4 days, it was like, maybe I should get checked.
Are you going with Robert?
My billfold.
I don't know. You had my card.
Hmm?
You had my card.
Yeah,
I love it.
hard, but I still need my billfold.
So, LB, are you okay, though? That is the question. Are you okay?
I don't know.
That is the question. Because LB fell on the 31st.
Well, okay, because I thought y'all were going out the door. I didn't see that. Where did LB say that?
I fell on my, on the 31st, slipping in the mud.
Hmm.
But then it has a little thing on it, which I don't know if that means that they censored it or not.
That's what it means.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it just.
I
popped
approved
up.
it. Yeah, I approved it. It was saying that it didn't want to approve it, so I approved it.
Hey,
Ha. I approved it.
Well, LB, you okay? Me and LB have been friends on here. Me and LB have been friends on here for a long time too.
Okay. I hope you don't mind everyone that you say is your friends. I'm taking as friends too for my life.
Hey, these are, and they've been like Richard and LB and Sarah Bell on here. Those have been friends of mine for a real long time on here.
All right.
Some others too. I thought some others came in earlier, but
Friend me. And I'll friend you back.
so, but yeah. Well, I just had this conversation today with one of my patients who said she fell, and I said, "Well, did you get checked out?" And she said, "No, it wasn't that bad." Okay, you're 82, and you fell hard. You get checked out. That's just what you do. You go get checked out. So,
Honestly, Bama, the whole reason I didn't get checked out was I knew the hospital that I was going to have to go to, and that is where my late husband passed. And I was like, no. And I honestly, in my head, was thinking that I was fine because I was getting up and I was going to work for 2 days because the third day was Good Friday. So we didn't have work. And so I, went to the urgent care because I was feeling really nauseous and I just wanted it to end. And I had 2 pregnancies where I had like the Kate Middleton, the hyper, whatever that is. I had that.
Hmm.
And so to me now, when I get nauseous like that, that's like the worst thing you can do to me. So I'm like, oh, no, no, no. So I literally went to urgent care because I wanted the nauseousness to stop and the headache to go away. And so he gives me, something for both of those things. And he was like, you need to check in with your PC on, your PCP on Monday. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. So I got an appointment. And it was Sunday night that my, sister from another mister was like getting calls from people. And they were like, listen, I think you need to go put eyes on her. I know you talked to her, but just put an eye on her. And she walked in my house and she looked at me and she was like asking me a couple of questions. And she went, hold on. She went upstairs. She, knocked on my son's door. She's like, hey, oh, hi. Yeah, you need to put all your clothes on. I know you're in basketball shorts, but you need to put more clothes on and probably pack an overnight bag because you got to go to Nana's. And I'm calling the ambulance for your mom. And he was like, what do you mean? She made me dinner tonight. Everything's fine. Yep, the 12-year-old's basis on how his mom was is as long as I made him dinner, I was good.
Well,
So I ended up in the hospital for 5 days because they were like, I cannot believe you stayed home like this. And I was like, hey, I took a nap when I needed one. I made food for people. I ate a little bit and I slept. And then I spent 5 days and they were like, you now have long concussion syndrome. Congratulations. Had never heard of it before. Thought somebody had made that up. I was like, y'all making that up. Nope, that's a real thing. And I was like, oh, cool. This is stuff you learn.
well, November, not last November, but the November before that, I went to my doctor because I was just not feeling well. I was just having these spells where I felt so tired, like I was just needed to go to sleep. And we went to the doctor, and one of the things I showed her when I got there is because my toes were kind of bluish. Or my toenails were, and I said, "Look, doc." She goes, "Oh, that's a fungus," and I'm like, "Oh my God, that grossed me out more than anything." I went, "A fungus?" She goes, "Yeah." Well, it wasn't a fungus, by the way. She sent me next door to have an ultrasound done where they were checking everything out, and I had a pulmonary embolism, a saddle pulmonary embolism, it's one that sets on the main vessel like this and could go either way. And I had that, and they sent me to the hospital immediately. Oh, excuse me. I get to the hospital. They did a lot more scans. I was in intensive care for a week, and I had I had around 60 something blood clots in my legs. So it wasn't fungus on my toenails that were making them blue. It was the fact that my toes were about to start dying because blood was being cut off to them.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I was in the hospital for a week. I was home for 3 days, and then my husband went down. And I had to take him to the hospital, and he was in the same intensive care for a week. We walked in when I was carrying him in, and the 2 nurses that had me, he come rolling in on the bed, and I was walking beside him, and they go, "Wait, what happened?" I went, "He got lifty. I had to smack him around a bit." No, but it was he has a congenital liver issue, so we had to go to the hospital to get all of that taken care of.
Oh my God.
All that.
It's moments like that where you're like, if she had just kind of played it off and said she really just was like, oh, here's some antifungal cream, here you go.
Oh, I would have died. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Because what they found out was those times that I was just getting real sleepy and going to sleep, I was dying. I mean, that was what was happening. It just stopped before I went through the gates. So yeah.
No, it kind of makes me, you know what I mean? Because like I've literally been like, if for the love of something, like if she just hadn't sent you next door, this whole thing would have been different. And that's where I get aggravated with things, because I think sometimes it's the little things that get overlooked.
Well, I will tell you this: if it had not been for the nurses, I would have died. Because even when they got me to the hospital, I was laying there and I was going, "Y'all, I'm having a little bit of chest pains." And I'm in a regular room when I first get there, I'm in a regular room, and they have me on a monitor, and my heart is in an arrhythmia. The nurse comes in and checks it, and I'm okay. Then it goes back into. The nurse comes in and checks it, and I'm okay. Then it goes back into it, and I'm okay. And the doctors come in, and they're like, yeah. They walk out. They call them back in. They go, yeah. And they walk back out. And finally, the nurses came in there and started unplugging my stuff and rolling me out. And as they passed by one of the doctors, they went, "Oh, he's going to an intensive care unit. Which one do you want him to go to?" He's going now. And they sent me to ICU and got me plugged up, and it was bad. It was really bad. It was, if it had not been for the nurses, I would have died. They tried to send me home. They tried to send me straight home from the intensive care unit, and I finally went, "You're not doing that. You're not. I am not going straight home from intensive care. That's not happening. You're not discharging me from here to go home." So they sent me to a room, discharged me to a room at 11 o'clock that night, and at 6 o'clock the next morning they came in and said, "Well, we're discharging you." I went, "No, you're not." I said, "Because I won't have a ride until 5 o'clock this afternoon." So I basically made them keep me for one day. And I was a great patient, because I'm the one that I'm not calling you for crap. I'm, honestly, out because I want to lay here and watch television. I'm chilling out. You don't need to come in here. Unless something's going on, you good, go ahead. I mean, I've been a nurse for 21 years. I will call you if I need. So the nurses loved me. In fact, it was Thanksgiving, and one of the nurses from the intensive care unit came up that had me for the whole week, brought me this big plate of food that had pies and all this kind of stuff on it. And she said, "I just wanted to make sure that you got a Thanksgiving dinner." And I was like, "Oh."
That's so sweet.
It was. It was very, very sweet of her. Oh.
That is so sweet.
Yo, I am old and tired.
I think, we all are.
It's been one of
I
those
mean,
days.
I came in from the doctor's office with a whole bunch of stuff because I had a doctor's appointment today. And I came in with a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I don't know where I put it. I really don't. I have yet to find it. So, I'm just going to call the doctor's office tomorrow and have them resend everything to me in the mail, because I have no idea. I do not know what happened to it. And, long concussion sometimes comes around and hits you in the ass. Mm-hmm. And I had my speech therapy today, which I know people are like, "Excuse me, ma'am, you sound fine." It's the cognitive
They don't realize
therapy.
what all speech therapy does, though, because most people think it's just for you talking, and they don't realize it's not. Speech therapy is not just talking, and there's a lot of things it does.
It's cognitive for me. It's cognitive, and they've been doing an assessment, like a reassessment on me for the last 2 sessions, because you can't do it all in one, especially when it's only like a 35-minute appointment. So she had said to me something today, and I was like, "Really?" And she goes, "Yeah." She goes, "So I'm questioning." And I was like, "Oh." And, I know, I explained to her why I thought the results were why they were, because she was all excited to do my results. And then she was like, "Oh, huh." And so I was like, "Well, me, I'm like one of those people who you tell me that you can't do something, and I'm like, okay, hold my wine cooler. I'll be right back." Let me balance 6 plates in the air while I complete this. You know, I'm just one of those people. I'm stubborn. Jen will tell you I'm real stubborn. It takes a lot to convince me to do the things I need to do if I think that I can do them without it. So,
Mhm.
like,
You know,
they did something like that to me.
what does BTH stand for?
Bearded Texan.
What?
So, Texan.
What?
So,
Bearded Texan.
our founders are a husband and wife. He is named Montana. She is named Cassie. She goes by Texas Girl on TikTok. And so they founded the family based on mental health awareness, addiction awareness, anti-bullying, all the good things, like
Mhm.
promoting positivity throughout the app. And we are still strong. We are still on the app. But she had 2 babies in under 22 months. So that does a lot. And so her babies are literally less than 2 years apart. Her oldest one is turning 2 at the end of this month, and the youngest one is going to be 1 in June. So when I tell you they had 2 babies back to back, they had 2 babies back to back. And so they have a lot going on their plate. He has a full-time job, obviously,
Mhm.
because you can't not have a job and raise children. So they've had a lot going on. So we haven't been as active on TikTok as we would like to be. But
Oh, there's Sarah Bell. I'm sorry. I'm telling you, I am absolutely horrible because I've got my glasses on, which are the progressives. So when I'm looking at y'all like this, I'm not seeing anything. I'm seeing the squares, and that's about it. I have to jack my head up like this, so I see the comments, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, that looks different. So when you see me do this, I'm reading the comments. So Sarah Bell's in here. Me and her have been friends for a long time, and LB. LB is both of them are really, really sweet.
well, Sarah, I just had the snow. I dug myself out at 12:30 last night in preparation because I had to leave the house at 8:30 this morning to be in the capital, or the city. I had to be in the city at 9:20 this morning. 9:20 this morning, and I was like, because of traffic and snow and people not knowing how to drive in 8 inches of snow. So I get that.
Are you in DC or in Washington or wherever?
No, I'm actually in Massachusetts, where we got dumped 8 inches of snow and they kind of were like, oh, no, 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 the South Shore, which is outside of Boston, you guys are only going to get 4 to 8.
Mhm.
I think we got closer to probably 10, but who's counting? Clearly not me.
Well, being in the South, if they tell us, most of the times, if they say prepare yourself, it's going to be bad. It's going to be a heat wave. If they say, listen, everything's great, there's going to be a snowdrift covering your car the next day. So they never, it's never accurate here. Like over the weekend, there was one day that we had flurries, and they were not projecting anything. That wasn't anything to stick. The week before that, of course, we had snow on the ground that stuck and all that. But in Alabama, we had an inch. It's shut down. Everything is shut down. The business is closed. We don't do nothing.
Well, I laugh because because we have a friend, her name's Kimberly, and she's in Tennessee, and she's like, oh, they're shutting us down because they get a couple of inches, and I'm like, honey, 8 inches of snow does not get our kids out of school, does not get them a snow day. That's like, okay, just put some boots on them and put them on the bus. Are you kidding me? Let's go.
I thought about
So-
that. What do they like? How bad does it have to be for there to be a snow day for y'all's kids?
Okay, so how this works is every superintendent gets to make a decision. Usually it's prior to 5 in the morning because they want to text people Like the busing people, they want to text before 6 because usually the busing people have to be in the parking lot at 6. So
Right.
usually what happens is they make a decision around 3 or 4 in the morning. And I think basically what it is they look at the forecast. If it's still going to be snowing significantly up until 8 a.m., they go, okay, well that's possibly not going to work in our favor. How much snow is on the ground definitely plays a part in it, because if there's like 6 inches on the ground and another 6 is coming, that's a foot of snow. And they don't like to bring people out in a foot of snow because then they're like, ooh, car accidents, ooh, car accidents, teachers getting to school could be problematic. So it's generally, yeah. So basically, um, anything a foot or above, you're probably going to have a canceled day. Anything 10 inches or below, and if it's going to stop around 6 to 8 a.m., they'll let the kids go to school. I mean, we had one day where they brought the kids in thinking, literally thinking that the snow was going to stop. And they had to reverse 911 because it was 10 o'clock in the morning. The weathermen had said, oh, I think it's going to keep snowing for another 2 hours. And the school system was like, had gotten reports from like the governor and other people that the roads were getting icy. So they had to make a snap decision and take all those kids that they had like actually put in school that morning, reverse them all back home. And it was like, I knew going in because I worked for an opposite district. I was like driving in and like, this is not good. So I got to work and my district was like, we effed up. But they had already called it like a half day. Like they had called it the night before, said we were going to do a half day. We're going to get them in and then we're going to return them home because we feel like it's going to snow in the afternoon. They say it's going to end, but we have a sneaking at the half day. And so we were on our way home when I was getting the notifications that they were going to do a half day for my kids. And I was like, oh, goody. And they had problems getting them home. My kids, they had problems getting home because one of my kids' schools, it was like down, not in a valley, but it was down a little bit. So they're having trouble getting the buses back up the hill. So they were telling parents, like, if you can come get your kids, please do. Because the bus is having a problem. So that day they got chastised by parents because parents were like, you never should have brought them in the first place. It was still snowing. Nope. Because, you know, the land of New England, they never get the weather right.
Well, they did to us now at the schools here. Um, like I said, they'll shut them down for, if we have an inch on the ground, especially. But it started snowing, and the school board was like, "Well, let's see. It's not going to be bad. It's not. Okay, y'all. It's getting okay. It's a foot. Yeah, okay, y'all. It's 2 feet now. Okay, y'all. We're at 3 feet. Okay. Well, then children had to sleep overnight at the school because everybody got snowed out, and there was a lot of fallout about that.
That reminds me of the blizzard of 78. So up here in Massachusetts, they had said that the storm was coming, but they felt like it was going to be maybe 5 inches. That was it. Not a big deal. So people went to work, people went to school. People went to work, people went to school. Like it was a thing. Because I was little. I was very young. I remember my brother was trying to do his paper route. And it was coming down and I was like, and I was little. So like, I remember it coming down and I remember my mom being like, no, he's got to come back because it's getting a little scary. She had 4 kids. And at the time, I guess, they make these decisions in bulk. So up here, they had decided that the fire chief's vehicle was going to be a Ford Duster. Red in color, obviously, because, fire trucks are red. My mom happened to have a red Ford Duster. So she piled us all into a vehicle, went down to the local market, grabbed a gallon of milk and a loaf of bread for three of her sisters, one of her brothers, and her mother. Drove us from our house a half hour away, dropped off the milk and the bread to all of her siblings and her mom, drove all the way home. Her brother, who was a cop in Boston, got nabbed by his town police, and they said, either you go home or we write you a ticket. So he went home. But his sister, who has no police background, fire background whatsoever, stay-at-home mom, drove around delivering milk and bread to her siblings. I think it was 72 inches of snow. Like, it shut down the major highways. People had to abandon vehicles. Like, they were towing vehicles off the highway for a week because it was so much snow. My dad was stuck in Boston at his job. My mom had 4 kids and a dog. And I remember them digging out the first floor window so that we could get the dog out, and my brother digging out the front door because there was so much snow. I just remember it and being like, wow, this is cool. We had igloos for weeks. Weeks. And I'm not talking like, I'm talking like my brother, his friends, my older sisters, they made a freaking igloo. It was amazing. I have so many funny memories of the blizzard of 78.
The majority,
But again,
the worst one we ever had was back in the 90s. The day before, we were in shorts. I mean, walking around outside in shorts. Got it. They said it's gonna snow, and we're like, yeah, okay. When I got up the next morning, there was a snow drift up to my window, and my window was about 10 feet off the ground, and so it was the most snow we had, or I had ever seen in my lifetime. And I'm old as hell, so you know.
yeah, it was one of those like really interesting situations that like the forecaster literally said 2 to 5 and they got it so wrong. So here's where up in the Northeast, if a weather forecaster utters the word snow, you can go to the word snow. You can go to the supermarket the second he does that and there is no milk, no bread, no peanut butter. Like, it is gone. It's off the shelves because anybody who lived up here and remembers the blizzard of 78, they know, holy crap, I got to get this stuff because people were trapped in their houses for days and couldn't go anywhere for days. My mom was lucky. We had like a gas stove that all she had to do was take a match and light it. So we were lucky. We had hot soup, we had tea. I mean, we thought it was the greatest thing ever. My mom was probably like, this is not what I want because I can't, keep the washing machine going. Convenient. But I just remember it being a good time, and but I grew up knowing that if they say snow, you go to the store, you get your milk, you get your bread, and you get anything that you can make on the stove. So now that I'm married, I'm not married, but now that I'm on my own with my 2 kids, because my husband passed, so I'm that W word, which I hate. Like, hate being that. But my joke to my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law is, I'm the only one with a gas stove. So when you guys lose the power, you're coming to my house. You're coming to my house. 'Cause I'm the only one who can cook. Because they both have, thank you, LB. I think what it is I talk about him so much in the present. And I know he's gone. I am well aware that my husband has passed. So for those of you who are like, do you know your husband? Yes, I do. But I talk about him in the present because I loved him so much, and I was so lucky to have him. And he left me with two of the best things I will ever have.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm so lucky that he did. They are the reason why I got up, and like they are the reason why my mother-in-law and father-in-law smile sometimes, because of just who they are, and they are definitely his kids. As I've said to Jen, I just incubated them. I don't know anything other than that. I just incubated them because they look exactly like him. I do. I miss him terribly. He was my best friend for 20 years. 20, 20. I was lucky enough to be married to him for most of those 20. But he was my best friend for 20 years. And sometimes you just don't know what to do. And I am that person. I just don't know what to do. Because I planned to be annoying him at 65 and telling him, you know, that's not right. You're not doing that right. You need to do it the other way. Like, that was my plan, to annoy the crap out of him until he was 65 and I was done
Yeah.
annoying the crap out of him. And then I was going to say, okay, you can go now. I did not give him permission to leave. So that is a bone that I will pick with the mighty person, whatever that person is. That's a bone I'm going to pick with them. Be like, oh, you thought you knew what you were doing. You are so wrong. So wrong.
My husband and I have a joke that we always say that one of the first one of us goes leaves the other one with the kid. So it's a threat. Like, you know what? I'll leave you with the kid. And so yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, I try to put a sarcastic humor on grief. I really do. Like, I'm like, well, either you laugh or you cry. So I try to laugh about it. It may not always be sunshine and roses, but hey, it could be worse. Could be worse.
Absolutely.
So I try to see the glasses half full. I tell people all the time I was very lucky that I got what I got with him. Would I have wanted more? Yes.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic. I don't think he was easy to be married to me. And I think he was just done with my tomfoolery. And I think he was just like, you know what? I was here for a good time, not a long time. So I think he just was like, this is my time. I'm good. She has annoyed the crap out of me. I'm good. You know? So I think he was just like, yeah, it's okay. She's good. She's got this. To which I say, mm-mm. And I do tell people all the time, I'm like, listen, I need somebody like John Edward or Maureen Hancock or, the psychic medium from New Jersey. If you're going to exit, at least, give me some crumbs so that I know what I'm looking for. Just don't leave me with no passwords. I still have no idea what the freaking code is on his gosh darn truck. I have the keys, but there's a code that you can access, like by punching 4 numbers or 6 numbers into that. I still have no idea what that is. I've tried everything I can think of, and I'm like, it's not any of the ones that I thought it should be. So I have some questions that I need answered. And, if somebody from the other, from a psychic medium can get me those answered, I would greatly appreciate it because I am lacking some questions. And plus, I do have a bone to pick because he left me with his sister.
Oh.
And I think that's cruel and unusual punishment. I was a nice wife, okay? I was a good person, and he left me with his sister. Thanks, dude. Like, what did I do to you? I was a great wife. I helped. Gave you 2 of the most delightful things you ever saw. And that's the thanks I get. Goddamn. But yeah, he left suddenly. So I was like, I have no idea what the passwords are. I have no idea what the 401, like, I had no idea what that was. Like, I knew he had one, but I had no idea what it was about. And then, people are like, hey, do you have the answer to this? I'm like, no, I don't. Do you know no, I don't. Do you think, no, can't access that information. I'm kind of locked out. So yeah, I mean, if there's a psychic medium who would like to, and then for those of you who are in a loving relationship and who love your spouse, please, please do your spouse a favor. Do not keep your vehicle or certain, big items in just your name. Because you have no idea the amount of paperwork that it's going to take to get those items in the other person's name in the event that you pass. Because I had some, paperwork things that I was like, what? Well, this is unfair. Like, because I always liken it back to, this is where my humor comes in. Listen, I think if I have to be a widow, I really think if somebody has to be a widow, whether it's male or female, I think what should happen is there should be some knight in shining armor or whatever that comes in on a horse and says, okay, we know that you are overly done right now. Your emotions are just out of whack. You know what you need? You need 3 months on an island with a nanny, with like a tutor, all the, therapy that you can muster, unlimited drinks if you need them, and or gummies, and just let you sleep in, let you work on your grief. Like, that's, I think, what should happen. I really think, like, that is what should happen. Because otherwise, you end up with, like, people who are walking around, like I did, for a goddamn year in the most unbelievable shock, just going, that really happened, huh? Because I kept going, I'm going to go to sleep and I'm going to wake up. It's going to be a nightmare. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to wake up and it's going to be a nightmare. 365 days later, that nightmare, I guess, was true.
I was a hospice nurse for a long time, and it always amazed me, not how people handled their own grief, but how other people wanted them to handle their grief. Because you hear people come up and say, the thing I hate hearing this, somebody go, it'll be okay. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's going to be better than it is right now, but it's never going to be completely okay because that person's gone. I mean, that's something you have to deal with. And it's somebody that no matter what, no matter how long you have to wait, whether you only have a year after they pass or 30 years after they pass, you're going to miss them. And it's okay to miss them. It is absolutely okay to miss them. And people, they want to say, oh, well, don't cry. No, cry. Go ahead. I got into it with a person one time at a family. A grandmother had passed and she was raising her grandkids. And one of them was a 12-year-old boy, her grandkids. And one of them was a 12-year-old boy. And they basically drugged that boy up there to see her laying on the bed. Come here and see her. You need to see her. Come on, you need to see her. And I'm going, guys, y'all don't need to do that. Listen, I'll encourage him. Oh, well, he needs to come. And then when he gets up there and he sheds a tear, they go, okay, now, all right, you're going to have to be a man. I went, wait. I walked over there and I put my arm around him. I said, come here. I sat down next to him. I said, listen, that was your grandmother. And she raised you like she was your mom. You want to cry? I said, you go ahead and cry, because I guarantee you, as long as I'm in this room and I am breathing, no one will say anything to you about crying. I promise you that. They will not say anything to you about crying. You want to sit here and cry next to me? You can sit here and cry next to me. And one of the uncles said, well, we're just trying to. I went, well, try something different, because that's not going to happen. Because if he wants to cry, he's going to cry, and you're going to let him cry.
Oh, exactly. No, thank you. No, exactly. My kids were younger than obviously they are now. But my son was under double digits. And I felt like the worst parent known to man, because here I was ripping these children's hearts out. But I looked at him around that time and I said, you can cry all you want. And I was so grateful because his best friend growing up, we had my youngest and his oldest, we had them, within the same time frame. So they ended up in the same grade. And he literally took my son aside and he said, listen, honey, you want to cry all day today? You cry all day today because it's okay. You want to come to my house and you want to, yell in the backyard about, how unfair this is? Well, that's what my backyard's for. I got you. You can do this anytime. Because I think the general census is from people, they will willingly give you 3 months and they will understand in the 3 months, oh, bless your heart, you're going through so much. Oh, bless your heart, you're going through so much. And then you hit that like half a year mark, and people seem to have like this thought process that you should be okay and it shouldn't be so upsetting. And why are you still crying about it? And then, you get to that year mark and they're like, oh, I know you miss them. But just think of the good times. Don't focus on the negative. And that is all well and good. But like you said, there is no time. There's no proper way. Like, it is what it is. Everybody grieves in their own time. And sometimes you just don't get over the loss.
Right.
You learn to accept it and you learn to live with it. Because that's all I do is I live with it. I have accepted that he is no longer,
Sorry.
but I live with it.
Y'all, Alpha Wolf is in here too. He is a friend of mine. He's been him, Sarah Bell. They've been part of the Office of Dreams, the series that I do.
Oh,
Yeah,
I know what series. Hi, Alpha Wolf.
Alpha Wolf, and he has 2 characters that have been in the show: Alpha Wolf and Wolfman.
Okay, I'll have to. I remember Alpha Wolf.
Wolfman is the one who brought the key for Morpheus.
That's okay.
Yep.
Thank you for reminding me.
Oh.
Yeah, so LB and Alpha Wolf and Bama Dads, occasionally on Mondays, me and another person on here, her name is Matt's voice, Tammy. We do usually on Mondays go live and talking about grief. And because she is not quite at a year, I'm going to be at 5 years in September, and there are days that it's in September, and there are days that it's okay, and then there are days it's a hot freaking mess over here. I'm like, well, this is just one of those days. So she and I, we'll go live and we'll talk. She and I, we'll go live and we'll talk about it because, sometimes, yeah, I have said so many times the 2 kids that I did because otherwise I can tell you I wouldn't have gotten up. I would have gotten into my bed and said, well, this is it. I probably would have carried on and worked a little longer and probably, tried to carry on. But the fact that I have kids, that was what really was like, people are like, remember, they're looking at you. And I went, okay.
Yeah.
And remember, they need you. And I went, okay.
Yeah.
And remember, they need things. And I was like, okay. So, and I'm not saying they're the whole reason, but they are a very good reason as to why I got up. And it's because I was like, well, I got to move because I can't sit here and have them go, well, this is what you do. I have to get them to understand that we're going to grieve him until we all meet him again, or we all pass. That's what we're going to do. But you can kind of take a step forward every day, and you can do a positive thing, and we can include him in our thoughts in our days, because I kind of feel like sometimes he is still here, um and that hopefully he's kind of happy with what's going on, and that hopefully it'll be a long time but a short time
Yeah.
before we
Well,
feel his soul again.
here's the thing. I've told people this as a hospice nurse, because if you believe in a life after this, the hereafter, then we have eternity to go from here. And the best description I've ever heard of eternity was the story of a king brought forth a little shepherd boy who was supposed to be very smart, and asked him, said, "Tell me, how long is eternity?" The little shepherd boy sat there and said, "Well, in Lower Macedonia, there is a mountain made out of diamonds, solid diamonds. It's 2 miles high, 2 miles wide, and 2 miles deep. And once every 100 years, a little bird flies up to the top of the mountain and sharpens its beak. Flies away. Another 100 years later, another little bird comes up and sharpens its beak. When by the action of all those little birds sharpening their beaks have worn that mountain away to absolutely nothing, then the very first second of eternity will have passed." So when you think about it that way, even if we have to wait 50 years here, 5 million years from now, when we think back on the existence of this life, we'll probably be going, "Do you even remember it? Do you remember what it was like?" I mean, because we have so much more time ahead of us than we do behind us. Yes, dear.
I like that. I like that.
So it's the way you think about things. Now, I've lost, of course, grandparents. I've lost parents. I've lost siblings, people that I love. Um, I don't know how people get beyond the loss of a child. I don't understand. I can't fathom that, because, everybody else, you think there's a possibility. There's a possibility that he'll outlive me, I'll outlive him, that kind of thing. But you never think my child, that because it's supposed to be they're going to bury me. That's the way
Yeah.
our minds are. But like my mom lost my sister, and I asked her one day, I said, "How did you do it? I mean, mentally, how did you do it?" She had 2 other kids. If she had shut down, she would have lost all of her kids. So
Yep.
she went on because she had 2 other kids. And I mean, I can kind of understand that. And I say this, like I said, my sister was one of my best friends. We went through hell as kids, and she was my protector. There was a lot we went through, and we protected and took care of each other. Um, and when she passed away, it ripped my heart in two. I mean, I didn't think I was going to make it through it. But there are songs that'll come on, or I'll be thinking about something, and I swear, it seems like if I turned my head just fast enough, I'd be able to see her standing there beside me.
Yep.
Because I can feel her there. And my sister was the oldest. I was the baby. Um, and I've always thought too that the day that my last breath comes and I blink my eyes, when I open my eyes again, she'll be standing there going, "It was about time." I mean, it took you long enough. You know, it's just one of those things that, um, whatever anybody else's beliefs are, they're absolutely. It's great. One of the reasons why I like the series of people that I work with on here like Hell's Bells characters and my characters and all that, is because it takes everybody's religious beliefs into account. And it says, like in one of the series where they talk about, well, I only see Christians here. Well, because it was the Christian you chose to be the Christian faith, so you're surrounded by the Christian belief system. And I tell people all the time, that's their belief. Whatever your belief is, it's not my job to take your belief away from you. I can share with you my belief. And that's the only job I have, is to share my belief with you. If you don't share that same belief, that is absolutely your choice. But my belief brings me some comfort to know that no matter who I lose, one day I'll blink my eyes for the last time, and when they open up, all of them will be standing there waiting. So, oh,
I like that analogy.
what are you doing?
I really do.
He has mine. He has mine. Son, if your dad was trying to buy beer from Methuselah wasn't farting. So I don't know. But anyway, I can't. Taking my medications. You can. What is he doing? He's still looking? Just tell him he did. Everybody said he didn't believe in happy because he doesn't. He doesn't. Not me. So, my husband and I are 2 months apart. I was July, and he was born in October. So that's our age difference. So I am from July to October older than him. And how we met was I was in a really bad relationship. It was ending horribly, and we still had an apartment together. And so I had said, listen, we only got a couple of months left on this lease. I can't stop you from being here. You can't stop me from being here. I said, but just do me a favor. Just don't bring anybody over here because that would really hurt me. So what he heard was, hey, I'm going to bring everybody I can over to see, if it does. Well, one day he brought over this 6-foot tall, blonde-headed, blue-eyed, muscular police officer to make me jealous. And me and him have been together for 21 years now.
That didn't work out in his favor, but
It
it worked
didn't.
out for you.
It didn't work.
It
in
worked
his
out for
favor.
you.
Yep. I was saying, I'll see if I can. No, I got him in here. I'll show y'all a picture of him. Of the hubby.
While I can show.
Well, it's not working.
Welcome to TikTok. Certain things don't want to work.
At all. And apparently, this is one of them. It worked the other day because I was able to show a picture in the live Saturday, but they have changed something. Oh. Is anyone else hearing the buzzing? I hear music.
In my head, maybe.
I hear music. It's amazing. I have hearing loss. And there are certain sounds I cannot hear. But like whoever's got the music playing in the background right now, I can hear it fine. I can hear the television in the other room. But certain people can walk in and talk to me, and it looks like I cannot hear that tone at all. That's why years ago, I started, because I had been diagnosed with Meniere's disease, and they told me that I could possibly lose my entire hearing. So it'll be buggy for a little while, you know. I started learning sign language, and I've made a lot of good friends through sign language. But let me tell you something: deaf people are very honest. It's a very honest language. There is no, you know how, like if you say, Jeff, how do I look? And I go, you look okay. Not in that language. In that language, there's no, it's not. I told a friend of mine, I said, oh, I don't feel good. He goes, well, you'll either get better or you'll die. And I'm like, oh my God. That is true, but you could word it just a little bit different. I mean, just a little bit. You could have a little bit different. Then what was another? There was a student, two students walking with their teacher up this road they were walking in school, and there was a bit of an incline, and she was not fat, but she was bigger. And one of them was kind of looking away like this, not paying any attention. Well, when he turned back around, she was going, because, they'd gone up a little bit of an incline. And he goes, what's wrong? Is she okay? And the other one goes, oh, yeah, she's just fat. I'm like, I'm going to tell you something. I love you.
Oh.
But the first time one of y'all go, he's all right, he's just fat. We going to roll down that road, okay? The same one I had struggled coming up. I'm going to roll back down with it, because, yeah. But, yeah, he's, they are some very honest people. Did you know that American Sign Language is the only official language of the United States? English is not an official
Well, there you go. I did not know that.
Yeah. English is not an official language. American Sign Language is the only official language of the United States, and it is its own language. It's not, a lot of people think that when you're talking or when somebody is signing, that it's signing word for word what you're saying, and that's not true. That's not American Sign Language. American Sign Language has its own sentence. Now, there is something called C, which is signed exact English, and that is word for word, but it is not American Sign Language. And in American Sign Language, there's no text. There's no will go, went. There's none of that. There's one word, and you either set it up to be in the future, in the past, or if you do nothing, in the past, or if you do nothing, it's right now. So I eat means I'm eating now, or I'm going to eat. I just finished eating, or I ate. That kind of thing. But it's a beautiful language. I love the language. And the best part about it is it's the only language where it's not rude to eat with your mouth full. To talk with your mouth full.
That's true. It's true.
It's about right.
People can talk across the room. We got in trouble playing, what is it? I can't even see, my brain's not working. The charades. Because we would sign each other something. They'd go, wait a minute, is that a sign language? No, not sign language. It was. We would just cheat with it and go, yeah.
No. Why would you think that's sign language?
But it is a beautiful language. And when done correctly, because you have to put so much of yourself into it. Like if you're telling, I can say, well, she's beautiful. That you mean you're looking at my face like beautiful, but if I go beautiful, you see that I'm thinking just beautiful. Same way with if I say, you say, are you hungry? And I go, yes. Or are you hungry? And yeah, it's the emphasis that you put on it. And a lot of people don't know this. How we have our accents. Like I have an Alabama accent, and there's the northern accent and the western accent and all that. There's accents in sign language too, because in the South, when we sign, we take our time, we talk it out. Up north, they sign, it's a lot faster. It's a lot faster when they're signing. And out when they're in Texas, when they're signing, it is a lot bigger when they get bigger when they get bigger when they sign. And it's the you notice it when you're talking to people. You can almost tell where they're from. And people
Yeah.
like names, there's no names in sign language as far as like there's not a sign name for like my name Jeff. There's no sign for that. You come up with a sign name, and it has to be a deaf person that gives you your sign name. And mine is just Jeff, like circle and then cross like that, Jeff. And I have a friend who her name was Britt. But you can't use that around other people because this don't just mean Brit. If I'm talking to somebody else, I mean bitch. So, and position is everything. Like if I go, oh, soon, we'll go soon, like this soon. But if I turn it this way and do that, that's not soon. Hey, that is not soon. That is a very bad word. Bad word. So you have to be very careful.
I've actually had a good time tonight. Just
I
hanging out.
have to. If we can figure out how to do the battle, we'll do one. But I am gonna have to run because I've got a video to edit and I've still got to get in bed. So I've had fun. Oh, I'll teach y'all this before I go. Y'all seen this one? I love you in sign language. Do you know why that's I love you? It's initialized because if you're doing the ABCs, you've got I, because there's I, there's L for love, and then there's you. So when you put them all together, you got I love you. So you've got the I-L-E.
Oh.
I love you.
Cool.
There you go.
Yeah. So, little tidbit.
Alright.
But, all right, y'all. I'm going to run. Love y'all's guts. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
Your honest opinion.
What? Huh?
What's your honest opinion of Bama T-Dog?
I thought he was a nice person. I'm sorry.
He is.
He is. So